Mr. Yip Hon Weng.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is timely to review the laws pertaining to our state lands. The last review was 48 years ago, almost half a century ago. I wish to seek clarifications in 3 areas. First, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we should leverage the use of technology for the reporting and verification of state land issues. Residents are our eyes on the ground. We should count on them to report issues that were missed during routine inspections. We have the One Service app that allows for easy, one-stop reporting of municipal issues. Even when issues are reported to the wrong category, they are rerouted to the correct agency to be worked on. This ensures that problems are quickly resolved. Most importantly, this ensures that the resident need not approach different agencies to get their issues settled. However, it may not be straightforward to make feedback pertaining to state land. There is comparatively less awareness about accessible and reliable information resources. In fact, unknown to most, the OneMap app and website provides extensive information about land ownership in Singapore. Clicking on the land lots on the digital map displays the responsible agencies and contact information. I would like to ask whether SLA tracks how often does the public use the information from OneMap to report or clarify issues. Is there adequate awareness about OneMap? Does SLA intend to promote its use amongst the public? Can residents in fact use the One Service app to report or seek clarification on state land encroachment cases? Is there a one-stop public hotline for residents who are less tech-savvy? When there is less ambiguity and a simplified reporting process, problems can be quickly identified and resolved. OneMap is a comprehensive resource on land ownership in Singapore. However, what is on a digital map may differ from actual ground. Unlike a map, there are no clear boundary markers on the ground. Misunderstandings or unintentional encroachment may arise when the resident property and state property are bordering each other, and if the boundary is unclear. At present, the onus is on the individual to prove that only on the balance of probability he did not know and could not have reasonably been expected to know that the land concerned was state land. Can the ministry clarify how can the individual prove this? How does one prove that they do not have the knowledge? How do the authorities differentiate between ignorance and negligence in checking? Can we do away with this concept in the first place? Second, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, when multiple government agencies have a stake in managing a piece of state land, ambiguity must be kept minimal. For example, the greenery on a piece of state land is centrally maintained by MParks. Cleaning comes under the Department of Public Cleanliness in NEA. Despite the clear distinction, these issues are often intertwined. When there's illegal dumping on a piece of state land, MParks maintenance work could be hindered before the problem is resolved. This could manifest in other problems that inconvenience the residents living nearby. Examples include pooling of water that leads to mosquito breeding or pest issues. Which agency is ultimately responsible for resolving the issue at hand? The landowner or the maintenance agency? Is there a system in place to designate the responsible stakeholder with the aim of resolving the problem as soon as possible? Some recent policies and initiatives may contribute to the complexity of enforcement. For example, there is the Community in Bloom project under MParks, where residents can plant greenery in common spaces. This may lead to the assumption or misunderstanding that residents can do more of the land outside their property, and contrary to the intent of this bill. Residents may use such land to create compost or do micro-farming in the name of sustainability. This is usually innocuous and with good intentions. How do we strike a balance between giving residents discretion and a stake in improving their living environment while preventing encroachment on state land? Land encroachment becomes a potentially sensitive problem when religious artifacts or buildings are involved. In fact, it's not rare to see religious paraphernalia such as altars and statues left at the foot of trees or on an empty plot of land. I wonder if agencies have made exceptions for such cases because of their religious nature. Nevertheless, laws should be applied fairly and consistently. What is the protocol for agencies to deal with encroachment where the offence is one of a sensitive nature? Can it count on guidance and support from religious organizations to do so when it is necessary? Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my third clarification concerns the management of abandoned land. When does and how long does it take for the government to conduct such necessary inspection before determining whether land has been abandoned for 3 years or more? I make reference to the discovery of skeletal remains of 2 sisters in an abandoned house in Upper Thomson. The house remained in a dilapidated state for more than a decade before the Public Trustee Office took ownership in 2015. During this period, the first set of skeletal remains was detected in 2006 after NEA officers entered for a mosquito check. The second set of remains was then found in 2015 by BCA contractors who were there to erect a temporary roof. From this example, it appears that it took a long time before any intervention was done. Will there be a system of coordination between SLA and the Public Trustee Office to better handle similar situations in the future? Another example is the Chi Guan Chiang House, which has been largely abandoned. Located on prime land, it received conservation status in 2008. However, it's largely derelict. It received conservation, is largely derelict, though it is supposedly owned by Litat Development. What constitutes abandoned land? Is it just when there's no claim or when there's also a lack of development? With the new laws in place, will the government take proactive measures to quicken the process of managing and inspecting abandoned properties? In line with the Upper Thomson example, abandoned land may prove an opportunity for criminals seeking to dispose of evidence. In conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, land is a precious commodity in land-scarce Singapore. The new laws highlight the severity of misuse and encroachment of state land. They reflect the government's resolve to use our land prudently. When time comes to put an empty plot into use, be it for building a HDB estate, a hospital, a public amenity, and so forth, it will not cost excessive resources and time to reinstate it to usable state. I therefore support the higher penalties against land encroachment and misuse, which will serve as deterrents. More importantly, we need to put our residents at the heart of what we do. I take a personal interest in this bill because there is state land in my constituency. State lands do not just concern the state or the government, so to speak. Clarity is critical for the quick resolution of problems pertaining to state land. We live in a densely populated country. Residents will often find themselves being in close proximity to state lands. When these lands are not properly managed and issues simply take too long or even years to get settled by the government, residents are inconvenienced. The government must be resident-centric. We must ensure that we have strong enforcement as well as streamlined measures to manage state lands in the most effective and efficient way. I support the bill. Thank you.